So on this worksheet, let's focus in on number 1. It says solve each problem by working backwards, but let's not even do that. Let's actually create an equation and let's solve that equation. So it says a number is divided by 2. What does that mean? That simply means x over 2 or n over 2 or anything you want. Now it says then the quotient, what are they talking about? They're talking about that quotient right there. Then the quotient is added to 8. Okay, so that means 8 plus x over 2. But because of commutative property, I could just do x over 2 plus 8. And then it says the result is 33. The answer is 33. Okay? So there's your equation. Now we could solve it. Yesterday we did one-step equations. Now we're doing 2 and 3-step equations. But we're not getting too crazy. Let's actually solve this thing. Now some of us might be thinking, oh, I have a fraction right here. I need to get rid of it by multiplying everything by 2. Okay, you could multiply everything by 2, but it's a little easier to get rid of the 8 first. 8 take away 8 is easy, it cancels out. And 33 take away 8, what you do to one side, you do to the other. You're going to have a new equation that says x over 2 equals, what is that, 25? And now you could solve this new equation that's on the right side of the line right there. So I would multiply both sides by 2. And you get your final answer, x equals 50. Now, if you're working on this at home and you want to check an answer, just flip the paper over. It's in a different format, but you'll be able to locate the answer on the back of the worksheet. Okay? Obviously, I'm not going to go through all these. Let me jump to number 4 because number 4 is so much fun. Listen up, guys. Allowance. After Ricardo received his allowance for the week, he went to the mall and spent half of his allowance on a paperback book. Then he bought himself a snack for $1.25, and when he arrived home, he had $5 left. How much was his allowance? Now that really sounds like a crazy problem unless you start doing a piece at a time. So the very first thing that you guys read is that he went to the mall and he spent half of his allowance. What does that mean, half his allowance? How are you going to show? Do you even know what his allowance is? No, so let's all go right here and let's put A for allowance. Now the thing is, we know that he spent half of it. I don't even know what the allowance is. But if he had $50, he spent $25. If he had $10, he spent $5. Make sense? Now, how am I going to show half of allowance? Half of the allowance. Divided by 2. So let's all do that. A divided by 2. And let's go back to continue reading the question. It says that he spent half of his allowance on a new paperback book. Then he bought himself a snack for $1.25. That's what it says right here. He bought himself a snack for $1.25. When you buy something, what happens to your money? It decreases, right? You're subtracting $1.25. So let's go back to this allowance that was divided by 2, and let's subtract $1.25. What else does it say on this word problem? Half of his allowance minus $1.25. It tells you that he had $5 left after he got home. What does that mean? After he spent all that money at the mall, he still has equals $5. So this is the equation that you need to work with. I probably should have made that 5 a little smaller. It's too big. Let me try that one more time. Okay, so let's solve this equation. You want to get A by itself. What are you going to do? Add 125. Cancels out. What you do to one side, you do to the other, plus 125. So if you have $5, add 125 to it. $6.25. So far, what we have is A over 2 equals $6.25. Now, I still need to get A by itself. Remember, they want to know how much allowance he started with. So how do I get rid of that divided by 2? Multiply by 2, cancels. Multiply this entire side by 2. That's easy. What's $6.25 times 2? $12.50. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have solved what looked like a hard problem, which was really not. Allowance is really $12.50. You got it? Okay, so that's probably the hardest one that there is on this worksheet. But go ahead and pick one. Which one would you like to see right now? Number what? 22? Let's do 22. Why not? You guys probably think that looks confusing because of the fraction, huh? Get rid of the fraction. How do you get rid of the fraction? By 3. What you do to one side, you do to the other side. The 3's cancel. You have a nice beautiful b plus 1 equals 6. And then you subtract 1 on both sides, and you get b equals 5. Man, easy, right? Which other one? Look at these ones at the bottom. Those look like fun. Huh? 25. Okay, guys, in order for us to really understand number 25, we need to understand the words consecutive integers. Consecutive integers are like numbers that are right next to each other. 7, 8, 9. Now, we already know what integers are. Those are either positive or negative numbers, no decimals, no fractions. So 2 consecutive integers, 7, 8, 9, 4, 5, 6. Actually, no, it says 2, not 3. I'm sorry. But so instead of 7, 8, 9, just 7 and 8. Those are 2 consecutive integers. Or 9 and 10. Or 21 and 22. Does that make sense? So consecutive integers are integers that are right next to each other in order. Okay, so what is it saying? It's saying find 2 consecutive integers whose sum, what does sum mean? Add. Okay, so I need to add 2 numbers, and it says is, which means equals 35. Okay, so I need to add 2 numbers, and the result needs to be 35, and the 2 numbers that I'm adding have to be consecutive integers. So check this out. If this were a 7, this would have to be an 8, but 7 plus 8 is not 35. So I'm going to erase that.
Why don't you just add 8 and 7 and subtract it by 35?
Now, let me give you the way I would like you to do it to create an equation. Ladies and gentlemen, if this number right here were 20, what would this be?
21.
If this one were 17, what would this be?
18.
If this were 11, what would this be? If this were 54, what would this be?
5.
Okay, so how are you getting the second number? When I give you a number, how are you getting the second number?
But it's 1 greater.
1 greater. So I don't know my first number, so let me put an X right there. Now you guys are telling me that this other number over here is simply going to be 1 greater than the number I just gave you, right? So what would that be? 1 greater, that would be an X plus 1, wouldn't it? So this is the equation that represents the summation of 2 consecutive integers. Whatever number this is, all I need to do is add 1 to it. That'll give me the next consecutive integer. So now I have an equation that I could actually work with. So what equation am I going to work with? The x plus 1 equals 35. There is no number to distribute, so I could forget about the parentheses and simply combine x plus x. That would give me a 2x. 2x plus 1 equals 35. So if I subtract 1 on both sides, I'll get, I apologize for this, got in the way. I'll get 2x equals 34, which means that x equals what? 17. Ladies and gentlemen, we found a number. What number was that? That was the x. What's my next consecutive integer? 18. So my answer for number 25 would be 17 and 18. Those are the 2 consecutive integers whose sum is 35. Does that make sense? Cool. So I hope this helps. This will be on Edmodo as another video to review for the quiz. Are there any other ones up here? That's it? Okay.
26.
You have a question?
Wait, so like numbers 22
grade for 26, those questions are gonna